Right, it's still daybreak on Arise. News time for the press preview. First look at what's on the front pages. We start with our sister publication this day, newspaper. There you see Kano standing still for Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf on arrival from Abuja. Of course, there are talks, there are riots there. More oil concerning the appeal court. Let's take that. Mayor Errors Blight appeal court judgment in Kano create crisis of judicial confidence. Let's look at the riders. Tension rises as controversial CTC circulates in Kano metropolis. NMPP protest urge NJC to review ruling, says document doctored to favor opposition. Court will clarify errors, declares APC. More oil, gas assets for sale as the President Tinubu approves conduct of fresh marginal field bid round. That's for this day newspaper. Just down there, you see Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf acknowledging cheers from mammoth crowd that came out to greet him on arrival from appeal court in Abuja. And let's move on to the Punch newspaper. Kano poll controversy. Police and NMPP protesters clash. More cloud over judgment. Court APC blame clerical error. NMPP Labour Party insists judgment doctored. Yusuf heads for Supreme Court, says appeal court lacks jurisdiction to determine party membership. Vintiri intervenes as soldiers kill inspector in Adamawa. That's the crisis between security agencies, police, and the military. Senate passes MTEF to probe tax waivers under the past president, Buhari. Police tear gas protesters, shield Oshusije from mob. 1.2 billion naira Ford. MFL gets 300 million naira bail, restricted to Abuja. On the top mast, FG slashes wage award by 100 billion naira, labor kicks. Fresh naira scarcity hits Kano, Sokoto, Edo, and other states. Niger junta sues Tinubu. ECOWAS court rules on December 7 over that case. Let's look at Punch Sports Extra, if I have it here. Okay, we don't have sports. Then let's look at the Sun newspaper. The Sun newspaper. Oshu, Edo, Anambra, Kano, top 2023 electoral offenders list. 187 lawyers, 16 SANs to begin prosecution of suspects. 1,076 arrested in 35 states, and beside the Sun logo, fuel we have supply to last beyond Christmas. Kerry tells the Senate. Babio pledges support for NNPC. EDU moves to unlock $300 billion in deep capital via land reforms. Former CBN governor MFL gets 300 million naira bail. Kano Guba NMPP protest urges NJC to review court rulings. He had some riders. Let's take one or two there. Appeal court admits clerical error in judgment. Body pressure on that is not readable. All right, let's take some more. Court declares Buhari's appointment of FCC's chairman, secretary unlawful. That's for the Sun. Independent. Let's look at Independent. NMPP asks, still on the CTC judgment dispute, NMPP asks NJC to probe appeal court ruling on Kano Guber poll. APC links misreading of judgment to typographical errors. Protest breaks out in Kano over appeal court judgment. CTC. Appeal court admits clerical error to correct it as appropriate. FASC shares 906.955 billion naira among the FG, the states, the LGs for October. 2 grandmothers, 4,590 others graduate from Lagos skill acquisition programs. Senator case 2024-2026 to 2026 MTF orders probe into tax waivers. Tinubu returns to Abuja after 5 days trip to Germany. And Federal High Court CJ releases new posting for judges. Alleged 1.6 billion fraud, MFLA secures bail. Trial begins on November the 28th. Let's look at the top mass. Minister seeks UN support to reform Nigeria's correctional service. Vows to sack high-handed officers. Tinubu's government poised to provide lifeline for MSMEs. This is coming from the First Lady, Remi Tinubu. All right, let's look at The Guardian. Poor funding raises concerns for 270 new private varsities. Poor funding. Tension in Kano over Gube verdict as Akeredolu Ayeda Tiwa crisis rocks Ondo. Senate laments cyber threats to digital economy. $500 million yearly loss. Court grants MFLA bail. Over 200 billion exchange rate differential pushes FAAC disbursement to 906.96 billion naira. Adelabu, aviation safety and profligacy of public officials. Governor Fubara, that's of Rivers State, opens 2 world-class health facilities in Rivers. That's The Guardian. All right. Leadership, before we go international, let's take a look at what the leadership paper is saying. Lawyers demand merit in selection of Supreme Court justices. Warn against sacrificing competence for politics, nepotism. Confirm unwritten code in selection process. There you see again Kano standing still for Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf on arrival from Abuja. And on the top mass, Kano, parties asked to return judgment copies. We'll leave it there. Let's go to the international. Okay, Tribune. Let's do Tribune, then we'll go international. Tribune, then 1 or 2, 3 international newspapers. Sack of Kano governor. Appeal court cites clerical error in CTC as youth protest in Kano. NMPP heads to Supreme Court, asks NJC to probe controversial CTC. Our victory upheld. APC insists suspended Adamawa wreck in Niger Republic. Council tells court. Senate seeks probe into $500 million CCTV contract in FCT. All right, now let's go to the foreign papers, and let's start with the Independent. Autumn statement, biggest tax cuts since 1980s. Who are they kidding? Good news, national insurance slashed, business tax, incentives rises for minimum wage, benefits and pensions. Let's look at some other international newspapers. Financial Times, there you see Jeremy Hunt working out. Tax burden surges despite Hunt cuts. All right. U.S. warned India after foiling plot to kill 6 separatists on American soil. The Times, again, not the Financial Times, the Times now, again, autumn statement 2023, what it means for you. It says, Hunt eases tax burden. Let's look at what the writer is saying there. National insurance cut worth £450 a year to workers. Economic forecaster issues warnings on growth and inflation. All right, the Times, Daily Mail, the Daily Mail. But with total burden still vast, let's hope it's just the start. Biggest tax cuts since the 1980s. And let's look at the I paper. Do I have the I here? Yes, I. We'll go to the Guardian. International tax burden to hit record high despite 2% cut for millions. The Guardian. Hunt reveals £20 billion in tax cuts as Tories move on to election footing. Daily Express, we have delivered, it says, tax cuts for nearly 30 million people and victory for the Express. We've delivered on triple lock to protect you. This is coming, of course, from Jeremy Hunt's tax cut. And finally, let's look at the Metro, for we call it today on the papers. The Metro. Chancellor fires election starting gun. Happy NI year. Surprise 2% cut from January to give 27 million a boost. Living wage up. Triple lock stays with pension up 8.5%. Benefit will also rise 6.7%. All right, that's it for the papers.